So plantain, this also grows in our yards up here where I'm from. And a lot of people look at this as a weed as well, but I am telling you, this is one that I like to use fresh and as a poultice. If you are ever out gardening or in the lawn, playing or being outside in nature, and you get stung by a bee or a wasp, or even get like any type of bug bite, and you can find plantain, grab a leaf, chew it up, and then do a spit poultice on that sting. And within seconds, I mean, literally seconds, it will draw the sting, the pain from the sting out. You get into a patch of itchweed or something like that, you put this on and it will draw it out immediately. It's like a miracle. It'll take the pain away immediately. It's fantastic. So plantain is an herb that is not as well known for its healing properties, but it does heal nonetheless. It's rich in mucilage. It soothes and repairs the gut lining. It's ideal for conditions like leaky gut or gastritis or ulcers. It has antimicrobial properties and it helps balance your gut flora. It really is just one of those underwhelming plants that and really most people would think it's just a weed, but it really is very beneficial. This is one that I also make a salve out of. Again, I prefer it as a poultice, but I'd rather have it around than not have it around at all. Another thing you can do with plantain is you can harvest it fresh, and instead of drying it, if you have freezer space, you can chop up leaves and freeze them in cubes in ice cube trays with a little bit of water. And then if somebody gets like a bite or something like that, you can pop out the ice cube of plantain and put that on a muslin or whatever, or even just right on, you don't want to keep ice on the bare skin very long, but put that plantain right on the bite. And within seconds, again, not only will the cold soothe, but the plantain will draw out whatever, the swelling or the bite, and it'll help draw that out right away. So it soothes inflamed digestive tissues. It may help with ulcers and irritable bowel. It has a mild laxative properties. It's rich in fiber. Again, plantain is one that you can add to your salads as well. You can steep plantain leaves in hot water to create a nourishing tea. You can use it externally as a poultice or a salve. You can also use this, like if you were really having a castor oil packing advocate, I like to use castor oil as a pack over my liver or over my pancreas, over my abdomen, even on my back, depending on what area is an issue. And you can put plantain if you're having a particular, especially with the liver, or well, even with your gut, you can put plantain leaves on that area and then castor oil pack over the top of that and see how that reacts with your body. Again, I'm not giving any advice. These are just suggestions that you can try and see how it works for your system. Mint. I know all of you have had to have heard of mint. Mint will overgrow any garden if you're a gardener. And mint is well known throughout the world. There's many, many different kinds. There's chocolate, there's orange, there's peppermint, there's spearmint, there's mint. There's many different kinds. There's catmint, there's catnip, there's all sorts of different kinds of mint. And they're all as different and as lovely as the next one. Some of them have a little bit more medicinal benefits than others, but still very lovely in teas and will all help with the upset tummy. So you can use them in culinary cooking, you can use them with tea, and they will help relax the smooth muscles in the digestive tract, because mint is known as a soothing agent. mint is also the actual herbal mint is better for you to eat than like regular, like purchased mints from a store because it won't erode your teeth. So that's something to keep in mind. And you're also not taking in sugar. It's also appetite suppressant as far as it's not adding any external craving. Your body is not going to add any more, want any more craving. When you take the manufactured mints, your body is like, starts to want to crave that. When you take fresh mint, you get that refreshment. Just try it. It's very nice. It does help stimulate your digestive enzymes. So again, this is really good in between meals. It's also good before a meal. It helps just stimulate all of that bile production. It helps reduce nausea. It can help alleviate bloating, gas, and cramping. It does help improve fat digestion. So again, mint is just really and all around really good for your digestive system. It relieves bloating, gas, cramping. It helps promote the bile flow. And like I said before, it helps support that smooth muscle digestion with a smooth muscle movement. How to use mint. You can drink mint tea. Again, you can use the leaves fresh. You can use them dried. You can freeze it. You can infuse an oil with it. You can make an extract. Mint is extremely versatile and it will grow like crazy. So if you don't want it to take over a particular spot, grow it in a container. So if you're wanting to grow any of these, um, mint is one that you don't want to just let go. It will take over everywhere. So drink mint after meals to support digestion and reduce the bloating. And you can use mint essential oil for quick relief from nausea. And how you would do that is you can either put it on like a cotton ball, or you can get one of those little inhaler sticks and put some drops of mint on an inhaler stick. You can carry them with you, and then they just have a screw-on cap. You can put it in a little jar and carry the jar if you're one that suffers from nausea quite a bit. And anytime you need to, you can just inhale it and it'll help calm down that vagus. It's an overstimulated vagal reaction. You can calm that down. So mint is best for individuals that have bloating and indigestion or nausea after meals. It's just overall, it's great in different types of cooking, great as in addition to even that little bit of a flavor kick for even in a savory dish. You can add 1 or 2 leaves of mint and it'll give that just that little added note of extra yum. And marshmallow root, I have to say that out of this list, I was going to say marshmallow root's one of my favorites, but that's not true because chamomile and dandelion and mint, I mean, they're pretty much all my favorites. But when my gut is really not happy, marshmallow root is really probably one of the things that helps me the most. Now, I do have to say slippery elm bark is one of my favorites as far as movement. Pop in a recipe for you guys, and it might go out in your email actually, in the replay. I think that's where I'm going to put it, is your replay. So look for that. It's going to be for a slippery elm bark porridge, especially if you're all here because you have some type of digestive issues, or you wouldn't have joined me for 3 days. So I'm going to pop that in your follow-up email. That's what I'm going to do. It'll be for the slippery elm bark porridge. Now, the reason I don't talk about slippery elm bark in this class is, one, it's harder to find, and two, we really would prefer as herbalists that you guys are using marshmallow root over slippery elm bark. Let me explain why. The reason is slippery elm bark has been becoming over harvested and it's not being responsibly taken care of, and therefore it's becoming more rare. So marshmallow root, we can get the same effects from. It's more widely available. There's a larger class of marshmallow roots, common mallow, hibiscus. They're in the same family as marshmallow root. So you can get the same effect from that class of family as you can slippery elm bark. However, if you're dealing with a specific autoimmune issue like Crohn's, slippery elm bark is a better option because you need help faster than you will receive maybe from marshmallow root. You need that comfort from slippery elm bark in a faster amount of time. So I hope that makes sense. So I will put that slippery elm bark recipe in your follow-up emails. It will make sense if you're reading through. Well, first of all, if you have any of those conditions, you know what I'm talking about. Second of all, when you're reading through the gut repair ebook that you're getting, the Reclaim Your Gut ebook, then that will also make sense. Okay. So I'll throw that in the follow-up email. All right. So marshmallow root, again, one of my favorites, especially for digestive health. It couldn't be, I couldn't leave it out of my top 5. This is one of the most soothing herbs for the digestive system, in my opinion, in the common herbs. Okay. In the common herbs. It's got a really high mucilage content. It coats and protects the irritated tissues. And that really makes it beneficial for acid reflux, for ulcers, for gastritis, for IBS, for chronic constipation. It's just an overall really good herb for all of that. It also has a bit of a sweet note to it for most people. So I like to add it, especially if I'm going to have some of the bitters that we were talking about. I like to add some marshmallow because it takes off some of that bitter edge without taking away the benefit of a bitter. So it coats and soothes the digestive tract. It reduces inflammation and irritation, and it supports healing of conditions like the acid reflux and ulcers. So how can you use marshmallow root? You can prepare a cold infusion by soaking marshmallow root in cold water. What you can do for this cold infusion is you can put, depending on how often you're going to use it. So if you're really struggling with a sluggish digestive system, or you're really having a struggle with diarrhea, it works for both. So if you're wanting to make a pint just to try it out at first, you just put about a third of a pint jar of the marshmallow root, and then you fill the jar up with water to the top, to the neck, and then you let it sit, and it will start to form. And then screw a top on. I'm talking a mason jar, and then screw the top on and shake it. It will form gel like because of the mucilage in it. And you just take some of that, then you can drink just that. Now, for me, I have to dilute it, not because I don't like the taste, but if I take that too many times in a row, it will bother my tongue a bit. So I have to take that. I actually add it back into my warm tea once it's cold. I like to add it back into my warm tea. So you can drink that throughout the day. If it's a pint, that'll take you probably just a day to drink that. If you do a quart, that'll take you probably 2 or 3 days, depending how much you're drinking of it. And that'll help soothe and calm down that inflammation. So you can combine marshmallow root with other herbs like slippery elm. Now, if you're using it with slippery elm, that's going to get things moving. Okay. This is great for individuals with acid reflux, gastritis, chronic digestive inflammation, chronic autoimmune issues that affect the digestive tract. Marshmallow root is really an overall great herb to add into your toolkit. It's very soothing, very supportive, very wonderful. Okay. So now that you have learned about these 5 herbs and what they might be able to do for you, how do you get started with them? So first of all, you just need to choose one. If you don't know enough yet about herbs and you want to start, don't get overwhelmed. Don't go out and buy a ton of them. Just choose one. Just get started. Choose one and sit with that one for a while. See how it works. If you go out and you start with a ton of them and you put them all together, you won't know if you have an adverse reaction or it works really good. You won't know which one did which. So you want to sit with one, see how that reacts for you. And if it's doing really good and you like the feeling and the taste, kind of, but you want to see what another one, add it or take that one away and then try another one and go, oh, okay, I really respond well to that one too. Or, oh, I did not like that one at all. Don't go out and buy a ton of them and for them just to sit and not do anything for you. Start small, get small amounts and just sit, use that small amount. Don't go out and get a pound of everything. At first it's going to look like an ounce is nothing or a half an ounce is nothing, but they go fast, but you don't want to get a bunch of everything. Second of all, be consistent. Be consistent in drinking at least 1 cup of herbal tea a day. I just made my happy gut tea or my gut, it's my grace gut tea. I have a happy gut tea. This one's a little bit different blend, does a little bit different, a few different constituents in it. And I made a half gallon of it because I'm drinking, anywhere from 2 to 4 cups of tea of that specific blend every day. Now, can you drink other teas during the day when if you're sitting with a new herb, can you drink other ones during the day? If you know those other ones are working well for you, yes, you can. If you know there's a shift, then likely it's the new herb that you added. So just be aware, make sure you're listening to what your body is telling you and how it's shifting. And then once you know how things are working for you, experiment then with with combinations at that time. So like mint and chamomile, they like to work well together. They are synergistically paired, paired synergistically really well together. So, that's something that you can keep in mind. So something to think about. Herbs are a gift from God. They are designed to nourish and heal us. And by incorporating herbs like dandelion and chamomile, the plantain and the mint and the marshmallow root, you'll support your digestive health in a way that is gentle, sustainable, and deeply nourishing. So I really want to thank you for, joining me during this intensive. And if you'd like, further assistance with me, further education, I'd love to have you reach out. Here is my link to how to apply to work with me. But if you want to scan this QR code, I have provided some recipes for you. And there's about, I don't know, anywhere from 15 to 25 recipes that I think there's 3 to 5 for each of the 5 herbs that we've talked about. So those of you that are receiving that are here live with me and that are receiving the replay, only you guys are getting this packet. This is just as a thank you for hanging out with me during this 3-day intensive and as a bonus purchasing this 3-day course. So I didn't promote this and didn't know if I was going to be adding this in, but this is a bonus for you guys to be joining me. So all you have to do to use a QR code, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, you just hold your phone up to it or your iPad and take a picture of that code and it'll pop up the link to those recipes and they'll be downloaded right to your phone. And while you're doing that, I'll just quickly mention a couple of other digestive herbs that you can add to your toolkit. Licorice seed is another good one. Licorice is really good for your digestive tract. Clover is good. Ginger is good. Fennel seeds, lemon balm. Again, those are fennel seeds and lemon balm are good for indigestion. Don't let that lemon balm take over your garden either, because it will. Hops is good for irritable bowel syndrome and colitis, but it also can and will make people very sleepy. So that's something you want to keep in mind if you're using hops. Milk thistle and dandelion together are really good for your liver. And the other suggestion I would give to you all is I have books and books and books on herbs. I've taken course upon course upon course and probably will not stop, because herbal medicine is a vast knowledge base, and it's not something you stop learning because there's so much. It's such a broad knowledge base. If you're wanting to know more about this space, the two things I recommend is to get an herbal medica book so that you know the contraindications and what the herbs do and that type of thing. And then how to use them, get a good book. And the type of book that has all of the different ways how to use them, like teas, tinctures, whatever, or you can focus on one area, an area that you think you would use the most. Like if you're not into tincturing and you don't think you ever will be, then don't get a book on tincturing, because it'll just sit. If you think the only way you'll ever use herbs is drinking a tea, then only get a tea, an herbal tea remedy book. But there are books that encompass all of them. But get a good book that you will put that information into play so that you have that toolkit at the tip of your fingers when you need it. So those are two: an herbal medica book if you're going to get into this, and an herbal protocol book, like how to mix what you want so that you have recipes at the tip of your fingers. And that is why I did provide some for you, because I think it is important when you're looking at herbs, how can I put these into play every single day? So I hope you really enjoyed this course. Like I said, herbs are my thing. I really appreciate them. I love how they work with our body. I love how the labs that I can see the herbs working to reduce that inflammation and relieve you of parasites, infections, and things like that are being missed in the traditional realm. I can see it functionally in your lab work, and then take herbs or supplements and put them together to help you in a better way so that your body can really come to a balance. And then tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the 5 pillars of health and how all of this now will come together.